How's it, everybody? Welcome back to the Rocky Fern. My name is Luke and I have OI Type 4. And today's episode, we're checking out this really cool diminutive beauty. This is Dischidia imbricata Wrinkle Leaf, and let's get into it. So you'll have to forgive me. This is my fourth time recording this video. It's super hot today. The sound quality, for some reason, my traditional setup is just coming in really poor, and so I end up switching over to my podcast setup. And so yeah, you're being recorded on the iPhone right now, still using the DJI mini mic, which is great. But back to the main star of the show here. This is Dischidia imbricata Wrinkle Leaf. Now, I purchased it under that name, but I've seen this, what I think is the exact same plant. So under Dischidia species Papua, Dischidia species Philippine. And so it's hard to say exactly what the species is. It is in flower, and that's what makes it such a freaking amazing plant. So you can see here I'm going on the piece of wood. I'll have some close-ups here in a little bit, but I really want to show you guys what this plant is doing. It's very slow growing. It is a shingling plant. Maybe it forms a symbiotic relationship with an ant species in the wild, I'm not sure. But the smell of these diminutive little blossoms are mind-blowing. So I was not expecting that from such a small flower. A lot of Dischidia flowers have a scent to them, but nothing of this magnitude. This is one of the strongest smelling Dischidias that I own, hands down. And while most Dischidia blossoms are small, you can see here that this peduncle here is throwing off, I don't know, potentially 20 different blooms, and it's the small details that are really worth checking out. So I'm really glad to do macro photography, because if you look at these photos here, we'll go with the leaves first. The leaves definitely have kind of a hirsuta leaf, meaning they're not fuzzy by any means, which is what hirsute means, but they are bumpy and textured just like the Dischidia hirsuta. They do look like a Dischidia imbricata Wrinkle Leaf, which is why I think that common name is aptly applied. And you can see that they have that really nice black markings to the abaxal side of the surface of the leaf, that top surface of the leaf. And then the underside of the leaf is this purple-brown color to add even more enchantment to this plant. If you can't tell, I'm really taken with this plant. Dischidias, a lot of the milkweed families, they are absolutely my favorite. I'm going to just say it. That whole family of milkweed, there's so many varieties out there that would you could study that whole family for a lifetime and not get bored. The ecology that they have in all their different niches here in the world are amazing. Monarch butterflies obviously come to mind, but they always produce these beautiful, beautiful wax-like flowers and then seeds that just get blown off in the wind. And so that's very cool too. And then of course the myriad of different varieties that you can find is pretty cool. So this plant does have very thick, stiff leaves, very probably water tolerant, or drought tolerant rather. And it is growing against this piece of wood that I just missed down once in a while. I have seen some really cool posts of people growing it on Tiva planters or other ceramic planters. Maybe doing this alongside a Hoya imbricata would be really cool. The Hoya imbricata get much bigger leaves. I've seen some imbricata with, I mean, damn near fist-sized leaves, which would be awesome to see. We'll move on to the flowers, though, on some micro photography. You can see here I've got an umbel here that's with the leaves in the background. Really cool. It's a beautiful plant. The blossoms come out green with a kind of a purple tinge to the edges of the petals, kind of like a little lip. Before it opens up. Now, they don't open up a lot, and when they do open up, there's a little surprise. We'll look at this picture here. It's very hairy. It's very hairy on the inside of this flower, and I'm not sure what pollinates it. I can't imagine anything big. Maybe a fruit fly, maybe some sort of dwarf bee. I don't know, but it is a very pretty flower. Very interesting morphology that this flower has. I wouldn't think that a bird would pollinate this, and I don't think butterflies would pollinate this. It's such a shallow flower that I mean, I'm sure they go in for a drink, but I think really the main pollinators are small fruit flies. That's my best guess. If you guys have any experience with this Dischidia, let me know. I would love to know if you guys purchase it as imbricata Wrinkle Leaf, if you guys purchase it as species Papua, species Philippine, whatever the case is. And then let's talk about the smell. Oh my gosh. So, um, if any of you guys don't know, I have two boys, and I love them to death. And it really is kind of like a baby thing. Like I'm baby hungry, I guess. And so that smell of baby powder or baby lotion that you put, it, it's very reminiscent of that. And so it takes me back to when my babies were babies, and it's just a very cool nostalgia to relive. And that smell is incredible. It's very baby powder-esque, very baby oil, baby lotion-esque. I can't really describe it another way. But my youngest son said it smells like sugar cookies, which I get. There's a little like a sugar cookie. It's like maybe if it was a grandma sycamore cookie without the pink frosting, you get kind of that sense. If this makes no sense at all, no big deal. I would highly recommend you guys get this Dischidia, grow it to flower, and smell it, and tell me what you think. I think this would be such a cool addition to anyone's collection. On the previous video, I mentioned that I'm going to be starting watercolor. I'm not an artist by any means, but I definitely have the desire to become a watercolor painter. And really, my idea is to make my own lamps. So I'm going to be producing my own paper, and then making my own lampshades. And then I'm a wood turner, so I'll turn the wood bases. And if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, definitely join along. I'll be posting some pictures of those, and I'm thinking maybe sometime down the line they'll be available. But the main point of me telling you all this is the subject of most of those lamp watercolor paintings are going to be plants, of course. But I can't tell you how excited I am to have this be one of the main focal points for one of those lampshades. If you're interested or have ideas that would be interesting for things you want to see, a monstera lampshade or whatever the case is, definitely let me know. I'm open to anything, and we'll just see how it goes. I'm hoping it turns out well, but you know, I am artistic, but I just have never been like a painter. I've always worked with my hands sculpting or whatever the case is. But in this case, you know, life's young and you might as well try it, and if it makes you happy, it makes you happy, right? But again, our goal is to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year. We're so close. We're over 700. It's been super great growing the channel with you guys. So if you like what you see, definitely give a thumbs up, subscribe. It helps out a ton. I've had a few suggestions on what kind of videos you guys want to see, and that's super helpful. They are in the works. And in the meantime, if you guys are ready for another adventure, stay tuned, and we'll see you there.